Yeah, good evening, everyone. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not, right? Yes, can anyone please confirm? Fine. So in the last class, just I was briefing you about, right, that different four cases, right? Uh, how that whenever we store a variable, uh, how to print the content and how to print the address and the type, right? Okay. Fine. So today test I'll be taking for some time. Okay. I got some other work today. Case one. So in the last class, I was just briefing you about the data types, right? Fundamental data types, object holding single value, and collection data type, object holding group of values, right? So various fundamental and collection data types. First, okay. In the last class, just I was discussing about integer four cases. Now today, like the other four. So whenever we install Python, go to this, go to this Python, right? Okay. Python 3.10, click this ideally, and just if you want to work with interactive mode, you can work with this interactive mode. File, new file. Okay. Okay. Now observe. Float data type. Float data type, right? Float data type. X equal to 34.56. Print X, print that type of X. Data type of X. Type of X means what type it is. Float type, right? Type of X is float. Yes, Sunil, are you able to, Sunil, are you able to hear my voice? Type of X, ID of X. Okay, 1 second. I will just, yes. Everyone, you can just unmute yourself now. Just I have given the access. Yes. Now, can anyone just give a voice confirmation?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Fine.
Actually, we are not able to.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Nobody is responding. I was waiting for you.
Yes, sir.
Demo, sir.
So please be okay. So now I unmuted everyone. Okay, you can just give your voice responses, right? Okay. Fine. Here, float data type, depending upon what value you are assigning to X. Okay, you are assigning a float value. Type of X is float type. Its address and its.
I got 1 minute, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Any query?
Yes, sir. Is going on demo or a class, sir? Actually, I was a new person.
No. Okay. You are attending for the first day today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
So many, so many hours.
no.
Yes, sir.
Just,
Sir.
no. Just we have started. So demo session completed, right? Today, okay. We are just entering into the technicals of Python.
Okay.
So here, 1 second. So whenever, okay, Sunil K, okay, you just Sunil, just if you are unable to hear, right, you can just check whether your audio connection is properly connected. Otherwise, in the audio, just select connect through PC or you to last two options, right? Select anyone. Okay, anyhow, you are unable to hear what I'm speaking. Okay, just I'll type in the chat. Okay, you can hear now, right? Okay, that's fine. In Python, observe this. In Python, if you are defining any value like x equal to 34.56, right? Internally, one object gets created. If you are defining any value like this, internally an object gets created in this manner like 34.56. It is going to occupy some address. The address is given to x. Whenever you say print x, it goes to that address and prints the content at that address 34.56. So in Python, no need to say like float x or int x like. So if you want to know the type of x, what type it is, float type, right? And if you want to print the address where exactly it is stored, ID of x 1030. These three things need to, whenever you define any value, right? No need to give the data type, no need to specify the data type directly, like int x, float y, in this way. Directly, what value you are assigning to x. If you are assigning an integer value, integer variable gets created. Yes.
Sir, we can assign only decimal values.
No. Any value. For example, if you're assigning a 10, right? Then the type of x will be integer type. If you're assigning a float value, then type will be what type? Float type. What value you are assigning based on the value assigned. If you are assigning integer variable gets created. Type of
Can
x.
we assign the binary number also or octal number?
No, not this. Like generally like integer, float, boolean, string, or complex values.
Okay.
Based on that, okay. And if you're assigning a string value, right? For example, Chennai. If you're assigning a string, right? Type, okay, if you are assigning like x equal to Chennai. So what value you are assigning to x? String. So the type of x will be string type, right? str, string type. Okay, fine. So dynamic data types in Python, the concept of dynamic data types means what value you are assigning to that variable. Based on that, the data type, the variable is going to get created dynamically, right? So if you're assigning a float value, float variable gets created. If you're assigning a integer value, integer variable gets created. If you're assigning a string value, string variable gets created.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, like, is there any like a range is there for the float or integer? Like in Java, we have the ranges are there, right? So, is there any range is there?
So, okay, 1 second. Observe here, in Python supports interactive mode. Go to this command prompt, cmd, and just type Python. And you can interact with Python statement by statement. X equal to 10. If you want to know what is the type of x, type of x is what type? X is 10, type of x I want to know. So what type? Int type, class int, right? For example, y equal to 4.5. So, okay. If I say y, it will print 4.5. That's it. Type of y, what type it is? Type of y means it will say float type, class float. And for example, z equal to hello, a string, right? Type of z is what type? Okay, string type, right? String. Okay, sequence of characters. For example, x equal to like true or false. True. Type of x means what type? It will be true. It's boolean type.
Boolean.
Okay. So here, what is your observation? What value you are assigning to x based on the value assigned? Okay, the variables are going to get created dynamically here in Python. what value you are assigning. If you're assigning an integer value, integer variable gets created.
Okay.
So like other programming language, here we don't need to specify like int, x, float, like for example.
I'm asking about the range. Like, is there any
Yeah, yeah.
specific
Yeah,
range
yeah.
limit? Is
Why I'm showing this, because can you see this a class int,
Yeah,
class float, class string. So in Python, okay, just coming back to this, in Python, whenever I say x equal to 10, one object gets created with value 10. It is going to occupy some address. Physical, that address is given to x. So in Python, int object, this is int object is created.
Mhm.
The object has got a predefined class int.
Mhm.
Right? In Python, all these are classes. Int is a class, float is a class, string is a class. Okay, bool is a class. So all these are classes. So if you see in other programming language, like C, integer occupying some 2 bytes, in Java, integer occupying some 4
Data
bytes.
types we used to call.
Yes, yes, yes. So in C, it's integer occupying some 2. In Java, integer occupies like 4 bytes. So in Python, you are asking like, is there any size or range you are talking, right? So it's a class. In Python, all these are classes. There is no fixed size. So here, there is no, it's a class. Integer is a class, float is a class, string. Well, all these are classes in Python. Okay.
Mhm.
So in we'll be discussing in brief in the data types concept, but here not like everything are classes. So whenever you say what is type of x, it will say class int, class float, all these are classes.
Mhm.
So object represented by predefined classes, there won't be any fixed size for a class.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hello,
Yes.
sir. One more doubt here. Even global variables or local variables will store in the same memory section or different, like C.
Okay. Local, yeah, we have got the concept of local and global variables also. Yes. Absolutely. Not only that, in Python, we have got 4 types of variables: local, global, static, non-static. Local variables, global variables, static and non-static variables. So internally, how they are getting stored means internally, an object gets created, the object is going to occupy, but only the scope is going to be changed. What scope? Local or global scope? Okay.
Means like a class level variables are okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So here in a class, okay, 1 second. Make it clear. So in Python, we have got local variables, global variables, static variable and non-static variable. The static and non-static you'll be just seeing within this class. Both will be within the classes only. Both will be within the class. But in the within the class, if you are defining a method, right, like a method like a display. So the static variable should be outside this method. Non-static variable should be within the method. So within the class, outside the method, we call it as static. Within the method, we call it as non-static. That, okay, static variables, non-static variables. Okay, for example, main, there is a 2 kind of variables like static and non-static variables. Like if data is common, go for static. If data is not common, go for non-static.
Means for every new object there will be non-static variable, right?
For example, employee E1, A1, employee 2, employee 3, employee 4, employee 5, right? So here employee 1 has got, for example, its name, employee name is there, employee ID is there, salary is there, designation is there, company is there. So here, which one to be represented by using static, which to be represented by using non-static means, if data is common means, for example, if data is changing from one employee to another employee, go for non-static. If data changes from one employee to another employee, go for non-static. Means employee name changes from one employee one employee to another employee, right? Go with non-static.
Yeah.
Employee ID also changes from one employee to another employee, right? Go for non-static. Salary also changes from one employee to another, go for non-static. Designation also changes, right? But if all the employees belonging to the same company, static variable, common to all the objects, common to all the employees, you go for static. If the company address, right, that is also like static variable. So static variables means like something which is in common data, but if data is changing, right, then go for non-static. For example, we take like any in this way, employee details or customer details or any other, right? If data is changing, go for non-static, otherwise it's static. And in the case of functions, if we take, right, display function, something which is outside, like global, local. Within the function we call it as local, outside the function like global. So I said Python supports object oriented C. 1 second. So understood, right? Now that is we'll be discussing later in class in object concept as you are asking query. I just briefly, but okay. Python taken features from different programming languages. It has got it's a hybrid, it has got hybrid features. It has got hybrid features. It has taken features from different programmings.
Like local static and instance variables are from Java and global variable from C, right?
So from procedural oriented or functional programming, procedural oriented programming, Python has taken the features from procedural oriented programming like C language. It has taken the features from object to oriented programming like
C++.
C++, or even if you want, you can say like Java. But okay, Python was introduced in the year 1989, but Java in 1995, right? So first Python only, right? Java has taken the features from Python. Okay, so I can say like from C++, okay, it has taken object-oriented programming like class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, all these constructors, disruptors, and from scripting languages. So Python has like mainly like a shell script, Linux shell script. So we can write many Python scripts. We can write, right? Many automation scripts, OS scripts, administrative scripts. So it looks very simple and easy. They look like normal English statements, not as complex as like Linux shell script. And majorly Python has got great boom because of this fourth feature.
Django web application.
No,
Modular.
modular programming, right? Modular programming, modules concept. Python has got a boom. It is #1 ranked programming language in the current industry, right? So because of this, 89,300 inbuilt modules Python is providing for various domains. 89,300 modules means for different domains, whatever domain you are from, Python providing modules. Means if you're from data science background, Python providing different modules for data science environment. For example, for data science, we have Python providing modules for plottings and visualizations like matplotlib, like numpy module, cp models, scikit-learn. In this way, multiple models Python providing, right? Using that model, you are just going to implement this. That's like ML, machine learning, or DL, deep learning kinds of algorithms or techniques, right? Total coding goes in Python, where it is providing many modules towards data science. Not only data science, to the big data environment, Python is providing models like pandas model for huge data, and for networking. For networking also, a separate framework Python is providing, right? Like twisted Python. Okay, and even for testing test cases, for even for especially today, a lot of games getting developed by using Python for game development. For game development, right? Python providing frameworks like Pygame, Pycara, and some 3D rendering libraries like PySoy, right? So in this way, 89, not like thousands of modules, 89,300 modules for different domains, for data science, big data, for networking, gaming, GUI applications, for desktop applications, for networking. Okay, and for software development. So I was just briefing you the other day, right? 1 second. Various applications of Python. 1 second. Real-time applications like web applications, creations, automations, big data, scientific, game development, testing, test cases, GUI, software development for business, for database applications, networking, embedded applications like Raspberry Pi, audio, video, CAD, web scraping, computer vision, for robotics. So in this way, whatever domain you are from, Python providing a model for it. It's giving 89,000. It doesn't mean that you need to have the idea about all these modules, but you need to know how, if a model, how can I work with a module? If I take a particular model, how can I extract that features from it? If you have got any built-in functions, so just Python is providing a function called help function to help you with the syntax of a particular functionality present within a module, so that within the help function you can take help of any function within that module. So because of this you won't see this models concept in any other programming. So that's Python, and it's not a purpose based language. It's not for a specific purpose, right? So it's any kind of applications we can develop using Python. Any application like other programming language, it's not like a specific to a but if you take a Java, right, we cannot go with automation applications using Java. For data science, for IoT, for robotics, Java is never preferred, right? If you take any other language, it is specific to a particular environment. If you take like COBOL only for business side, for Pascal for scientific applications, Fortran for all. So different types of language used for specific purpose, but Python has got wide range of applications. That's the today Python is the mostly chosen, mostly used programming because of this modules concept. So not only that, what are the features we see in different other programmings in Python also we are going to see, like a C features, C++, Java or shell script modules. Okay. So which has got wide varieties of applications, which makes Python as the #1 ranked. So we are going to write scripting. See here, the scripts also. Many automation scripts, for example, in AWS DevOps, right? We write many scripts, automation scripts, okay, within the DevOps lifecycle. Okay, so Python is one of the best scripting for writing these automations. Not only that, many like administrative scripts, okay, even for administrators. So this Python scripts are going to work. So it has got modules like the OS module we have got, where we within the OS module, many built-in functions are there. We can just make use without writing huge codings. The importance of models is we will no need to write huge codings. Within 2 or 3 lines, we'll performing the operations. So I was just showing you the other day, right? Some sample codings of modules, right? How it looks like generating graphs. How simple generating a graph in Python, like normal graph, bar graphs, histograms, scatter plots, stack plots, any kind of graph. Okay, it's very simple in Python generating those. Many scripts you can write. And object-oriented programming features also supported in Python. So for web application, and Python has got some frameworks. Apart from this, Python providing some frameworks. Apart from these models, apart from these hybrid features, right? Python providing framework like Django framework, Flask framework, Pyramid framework, TurboGear, bottle. So the most famous one is like Django framework. Django framework means it's provide very flexible options. We no need to write for, even if you talk about other like Java, right?
Sir, what is framework, sir?
Okay. Yeah, some query was asked, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What is framework, sir?
So framework
meant by
framework is a kind of like code library. So for interactive web applications creations, especially for interactive web applications creations, a frameworks are provided by Python. So we are going to follow some MVT architecture here. Model, view, template. Model means database. View means like Python functional views or class views. Templates means like front end tools like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. So using, so frameworks generally used for creation of this web applications creations, right? So some flexible options Python, this Django framework is providing. Not only this, apart from this, the most famous and flexible options provided is Django framework, where it has got its own server, application server, where it has got its own database also. Django has got its own database like SQLite 3. It's a lightweight database. It has got its own inbuilt database, SQLite 3. But I doesn't want this SQLite 3, but I want to configure with any other database like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server. It's very simple and easy to connect to this. Okay, just to give that username, password. That's it. You are going to connect with the database. Means it's not as complex as other programming like Java, other programming, right? With a lot of discussion, lot of understandings required, right, to connect to the database. But here Python for Oracle, for if you want to connect to Oracle database, Python, I said like we have got modules concept for Oracle. CX underscore Oracle is the module. For MySQL, to connect with MySQL, PyMySQL. PyMySQL is the module required. For SQL Server, okay, we have got a model like PyODBC. So it's very simple. We connect, use this model and connect it. Using this model and connecting with the database, very simple to connect with the databases also. And especially even like Django framework, at a rapid speed, you can develop the web applications using the Django, and flexible options, especially for the programmers and developers. Simple with a simple manner, with very less coding, we can develop these applications using Django framework. Okay. So already I said Python, the statements of Python looks like normal English statements. 1/4 coding as compared with any other programming, very less coding you see in Python. Apart from that, it has got many thousands of models to support the different domains, right? Different environments. And also we can write many scripts, and also we have got many frameworks. Apart from that, we have got many IDEs, integrated development environment, right? IDEs providing. So we have got many IDEs Python providing like PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans. So this Eclipse NetBeans can be used for Java, and a Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and Atom, VS Code, VS Code, right? Okay. So mostly used one is PyCharm for. So you may ask why these many IDs for Python, because Python is used for different environments. For different environments, different IDs are used. For example, for data science, Jupyter Notebook is mostly preferred. Spider is preferred. For big data, Spider is mostly preferred. Jupyter Notebook also used. For typical web applications, PyCharm is mostly preferred. Atom, VS Code, these are preferred. So Eclipse also preferred, right? So for different environments, different IDs are used. So I'm going to give that knowledge on all these IDs, how to download them, how to install them step by step. So you can parallelly do along with me step by step, right? This downloading and installation of these various IDs, how to run the code, how to execute, how to debug, and if any external modules, advanced modules, how can we download and install them within these IDs. And Anaconda distributions, within the Anaconda distributions, what are the things, what are the IDs we are going to get, how to work with the Anaconda distributions. In real time, we use these IDs, right? So how to work on these IDs and be discussing. So just as an overview of Python, so what are the features, modules, frameworks, and how to connect with the other like databases. Okay. So that's the reason, what are the things. So even if a beginner or a learner, if you want to interact with Python also providing interactive mode. Just in the search panel bottom, go to the command prompt by typing CMD and just type Python here and say enter. You'll get this interactive gets opened. Here you can type any valid Python statements, right? Sorry. Any valid Python statements you can type. X value is 10, like x minus 4. What is x into 4? Okay, x to the power of 3. Okay, in this way you can interact with Python. Any functionality, if it doesn't know, you can just type here in the interactive mode and check. Statement by statement, it provides you the response, right? Okay. So I said I'll be discussing 100 hours. I'll be taking 100 hours for this, more than like nearly 100 hours. So in brief, in depth, it will be covered with multiple code examples, multiple scenarios and tasks, and assignments. Every week I'll be providing us, every Friday I'll be providing assignments to work with, right? How to convert into to float. So for that also Python providing very simple, okay, converting into to float. We have got, for example, okay, very simple. Go to this, okay, I'll just show you practically, okay, how to convert into to float. Into to float, okay. 3.5 is there, right? 3.5 you want to convert it to integer, float to int function. Int of 3.5, what is output? 3. 3.5 is a float. If you want to convert to integer, this is that. Just int function is available for converting a float to int. If you want to
kind
convert,
of like a typecast. It's
yes,
kind of
typecasting, right? If
Okay.
just you have asked like how to convert into to float, means if you take int value, if you want to convert to float of float. Simple syntaxes. I said Python statements look like normal English statements. They're not as complex, right? In this way. So even if you talk about that collection types, right? Collection types. In other programming language, we say array of elements. So, but here simple syntax. If you're assigning 10 to x, it is integer type. If you're assigning 4.5, it is float type. But if you want multiple values, right, use square bracket. That's it, multiple values. Say x, it prints the values. Len of, I want to see the length of this list, 5. I want to find the maximum element within this, right? Max of x, that's it. Max 50. Min of x. 10. Sum of all the elements I want. Sum of x, right? 150. If you want average, no separate function, sum of x by len of x. Right? In this way, it gives the average 30. If you want to arrange them in a particular order, sorted of x, right? It arranges in the sorted order. Already they are in the sorted order, right? Okay. If you want in descending order, like sorted of x, the ascending order, if you reverse it, you will get in descending order, right? Just say this, you will get in descending. In this way, simple syntaxes and many built-in libraries functions are available. So if you want to know the type of x, it's what? List type. List type, right? Because list of values. So that list, okay, 1 second. X is a list of 5 elements. So it's very simple. Okay, if you want, see how simple. If you want add a new element, x dot append 60 to it. X now is a 60 got added, right? X dot remove, I want to remove some element. Which element? 20. I can remove it. 20 gets removed. Now you see 20 got removed.
Hello.
So in this way, okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I have a doubt here. Can I convert this list as a array? Is it possible to convert it?
See in Python, we have got list, tuple, set, and dictionaries. List, tuple, set, and dictionary. But we have got concept of NumPy arrays. NumPy for mathematical and statistical operations. We have got NumPy arrays, but list is both homogeneous, heterogeneous. If you want to homogeneous all integers, if you want to add a, for example, x dot append, I can also add a name Ajay. It accepts. You can see a string also can be added. Homogeneous, heterogeneous. So there is no concept of arrays here. List of values. So array is only homogeneous. You cannot have one integer, one string in array. But in list, if you want all integers, you can take, all strings you can take. One integer, one string can be taken, right? Okay. Homogeneous, heterogeneous elements all are allowed.
It's similar as array only, right?
Pardon?
Before adding array, it consists of only numbers, right? Hello.
I'm getting breaks in your sound. Lot of breaks in your sound. Can you please repeat them? Yeah.
Before adding Ajay string into the list, it's similar as an array only, right?
Okay. See, whatever it is, but in the case of array, in the normal array in C other programming languages, you cannot have a heterogeneous types, right? One integer, one string, one float, not allowed, right? But here in Python, this is we call it as a square bracket, we call it as a list. Means if you want, you can have all homogeneous elements you can have.
And heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous elements you can have. In whatever way you want to use it, you can use that list.
Like it is a mixture of.
So you can, if you want to add an element, you can append. If you want to remove, you can remove. Or if you want to add say string or anything, you can. Otherwise, if I want to modify this, I want to modify this 30 x of 1, x of 1, just like array here also indexing x of 0, x of 1. I want to modify to some 35. Yes. Now see, it gets modified to 35, right? You can modify, you can update, you can delete, you can insert, you can add any elements, right? So how flexible this list is as compared with the array, right? Means
Can that new element will be added at beginning or like in the middle?
yes, sir. So here you are asking, right? Append is appending always at the end. But if you want to insert, at what index position you want to insert? 0, 1. See, before this x dot, we have got a method called insert method, insert. to the X list I want to insert. At 0 index, at 1 index, I want to insert a 20. See, now 20 gets inserted at between 10 and 35, 20 gets inserted. Check it, 20 got inserted. Means you need to say it. For example, after 40, I want to insert a city Delhi. 0, 1, 2, 3. At the fourth index means X dot insert. At the fourth index, I want to insert Delhi. So in this way, we have got a simple and easy syntaxes in Python. So Delhi got inserted, right? And wherever you want, you can insert it. You can add, you can modify, you can remove. Okay.
The difference between tuple and this list, actually.
So here, in the case of list, see here, there is one more property. For example, y is a tuple. 10, 20, 30, 40. One more collection type, tuple, right? Why is a tuple? Difference between, see this, I have simple syntaxes in Python. Here, squared bracket means list. Normal braces, please be in mute. If you have got any query, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Meanwhile, you can be in mute. Right? So list of values, difference between list and this is tuple. Even we have got sets, curly braces we use. By seeing the braces, you should identify list. This is tuple. Curly braces means set, right? So the main difference between this list of values and this tuple of values is here you are modifying 30 to 35. It is allowing to modify, but here you cannot modify. Once you define some values, right? You cannot modify the elements. 20 to 25, I want it won't accept it. You cannot modify it. But in the list, see here in the list, I added one element to 60. I removed one element to 20. I added one more element actually. Addition is possible, removal is possible. You can insert, you can modify, you can remove in a list, but in a tuple, you cannot perform all those. You cannot add a new element to a tuple. You cannot remove an element from a tuple. You cannot modify a tuple element. That's the main difference. In a case of list, insertion is possible, updation is possible, deletion is possible. The case of tuple, you cannot insert, you cannot remove, or you cannot delete it. Fine.
Means I have a question. So these are like arrays, like which are fixed in size, right? And the list is kind of like a collection, right?
So yes, like tuple is fixed in size. Okay, tuple is fixed in size. Once if you're defined, you cannot. Just like only for tuple is used only for retrieval operations. For example, retrieval operations means if I'm taking a tuple like a hall ticket number, student name, and student rank, only you can retrieve them. You cannot modify them. Rank or hall ticket number or student name. Is listed somewhere like if you talk about employee details, right? Employee name, employee ID, salary, designation. But today, okay, you're defined as a list of tomorrow is salary got hiked. Tomorrow is he got promotion from assistant manager to manager. I need to modify his designation. So list allows it. Salary, if you want to modify, you can modify it if it is a list, right? So, but a tuple only for retrieval, right? It's like a fixed, right? Okay.
So it's better if you want only for a retrieval purpose, we can use tuple, and for insertions, we can use list.
Yes. So list is widely used, mostly used in our applications, but tuples generally whenever you are retrieving data from databases, the data whatever you are retrieving will be in the tuple format you are going to get. If you want any modifications, right, you will typecast to list and you can perform those modifications changes, right? Typecasting also very simple. For example, y is a tuple, right? To convert
Again,
into
what is the tuple is in Python? Actually, in database, either record or row is a tuple. What is the tuple in Python is the same.
See here, this list in please be in mute. Okay, I'll just go with your query. So here list of values, right? List of values you have understood. In Python, list is one collection data type, tuple is one collection data type, set and dictionary. They are collection types. List means list of values. Here tuple of values. The main difference of between list and tuple is here also tuple of values. We cannot modify these values. Here in the list, you can modify all these 5 values to some different values. Okay, that database tuple is different. Here Python tuple is different. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So all this we'll be discussing as part of our course in brief. Okay, so for example, especially on collection data types, I'll be spending 1 week, more than 1 week to 10 days of time. Like list properties, list indexing, list slicing, list functions, list methods, list addresses, nested list modifications. In this way, on list only I'll be spending for 3-4 days, right? And for tuple operations, their indexing, slicing, functions, methods, their addresses, dictionaries also we have got like 3-4 days I'll be spending on that. So in this way, we'll be discussing in brief with multiple examples. Right.
So are you covering any module?
So models also, as I said, right, many models I'm going to discuss, some models related to operating system, some models related to graphics, some models related to regular expressions, some models related to database, Python database connectivity models, and some models related to data science like NumPy model I'm going to discuss, some models matplotlib, plottings and visualizations, how to generate different types of graphs, NumPy model, matplotlib model, and some model related to big data like pandas model I'm going to discuss, and GUI model I'm going to discuss, and web scraping data from different websites, web scraping model, URL model. Okay, so in this way, many models I'm going to discuss, and date and time related applications, and how to create our own models in Python. So this all I'll be discussing in modular programming and object-oriented programming. I'll be covering all this procedural-oriented programming, functional programming, object-oriented programming in brief with class, object inheritance, polymorphism, all those concepts, and scripting and models in Python, modular programming, right? Okay. So that some advanced models also I'm going to cover, right, which is not specified in the syllabus content. So like data science model, GUI model, graphics model, and how to create Excel workbook, creating Excel workbooks and inserting data into inserting Excel sheets into it, inserting data, retrieving data, working with different types of files, Excel files, CSV, JSON files, XML files, PDF files. Means just by writing Python statements, if I execute, a Excel file need to be created, Excel workbook need to be created. Again, if I add 1 or 2 lines and if I execute, go and check in your Excel workbook, one sheet is going to be inserted. And into, if you have got 4 sheets already in your Excel, to a particular sheet, I want to insert data by writing Python statements, right? The same way in the database also, I want to create tables in the database by executing Python statements. If I execute this program, go and check in the database, tables gets created and data gets inserted. You can perform those operations, right? Okay. So in this way, database related concepts, some modules related to that, and some data science related models, some OS related modules, multi-threading or multitasking, those models. Okay, fine. Yeah, any other queries?
So I have one doubt, sir.
Yes.
So after completing this course, I will be ready for the any job.
So okay. So I said I'll be taking more than 100+ hours. So you'll be getting good command on your subject, right? Total Python. So tomorrow, if you go to any interview, all right, you'll be, why? Because many assignments, more than 300+ code examples I'm going to provide, right? As part of
Okay,
this
sir.
course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, fine. So more than 300+ code examples I'm going to be covered as part of this course. So which makes many tasks and assignments will be provided, and many interview questions I'll be providing topic wise. Okay, and everything I'll be typing and showing you, not like bringing some pre-written code, right? Clear notes will be provided, and every session is video recorded, and you will be getting the video, right? Fine. Okay, so Any more queries? So the next session will be on Monday, right? Monday, same time. Tomorrow I'll be Monday to Friday. Your sessions will be from Monday to Friday. Sometimes on Saturdays I'll be taking, if we are running out of days, I'll be taking some Saturday bigger sessions, right? Okay. So the same time on Monday, 9 p.m. with same link, you can join to see more on this Python, right?
Sir, can I pay amount through Google Pay, sir?
Yeah. You have got, if you see it, your mail IDs, yes, Google Pay account also it's given, right? Yesterday they shared that details about that, how to pay the payment process and procedure, right? If you check your mails also, you have got how the payment process and procedure. Once again, they'll be providing the total procedure, payment procedure, right? You can just check in your spam folders or the normal inbox, right? You should have got some mails related to the payment process and procedure. Clearly, they'll be providing, and we have got online team who will be taking care about the videos. They'll be sharing you in a daily basis once you have enrolled, and the notes I'll be forwarding you to your mails in a regular basis every alternate days, right?
So I have paid the fee already. So but they are not sharing the videos, even though I mailed a couple of times to the online training team, but they did not respond yet.
No. Actually, in a full-fledged panel, you are actually still the enrollment process is still open, right? It's not closed. So once it is closed, everyone as a group, you will be getting the things, right? So first a few days, okay, it's fine. They are keeping in the YouTube. You can just go and check in the YouTube the videos. Okay, DURGASOFT Python, and you can just see in the YouTube first 5 days only. You can see that videos what we have seen, that 3-4 days.
Okay.
Okay, later you'll be getting to your Google Drives.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. So if anything is there, you can just intimate me related to videos, notes, everything. Okay. And the sessions will be interactive sessions. You will be in unmuted status only. Anytime you can interact and you can ask your queries, right? At the start of the session, at the end of the session, you can ask queries related to the previous topics, other things, right? Okay, fine. So yeah.
Yeah, Vijay, just one last doubt actually. So we have, so is there any sections ongoing for PySpark combination along with this? Maybe some other timings?
Yeah. See, one thing, this is Python. Totally, it's a Python batch, right? And that batch is separate. I do take that Spark with Python and Spark with Scala. Recently, Spark with Scala has started at evening 5 o'clock, right?
Okay.
Hadoop and Spark both combinedly, and PySpark batches also started, but it's almost half done, right? But we will let you know if the new batch of PySpark starts.
Okay.
You can just be in contact with this online team, right?
Okay, Vijay. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I'm continuing this most probably maybe 1.5 month, maybe anyway the new batch will be going to join, right? So that time I will be joined that also.
Yes, definitely.
Sir, what's the fees for PySpark kilo?
Pardon?
What is the
PySpark fee?
Okay, previously it was an offer batch. I don't know, like for the new batches, okay, we need to, they will be setting some different prices for different batches, right? Even now it's Python is a offer batch. So it's just given for 5,000. It's out of 10,000, the 50% discount they're giving for 5,000, but not all the batches will be having the same price. So for the upcoming PySpark batches, they will set a price for it.
So approximately it will be like any idea?
So now for Hadoop and Spark, it is 10K. The fees is 10K for Hadoop and Spark with Scala, right? So fine.
In for PySpark, which is running currently in offer, what's the fees?
It's 7K.
Okay. So it will be mostly 10K around it.
Okay. Fine.
So just, Vijay, in the PySpark, maybe you are briefing about Spark architecture along with the Spark features, right? Or it will be like only PySpark?
Spark total architecture, the Spark core programming, Spark SQL programming, Spark streaming. Okay, RTDs, data frames, everything will be covered, right?
Okay.
Fine. Okay. So fine. Any other queries?
Sir, when you are sharing the notes for this session?
Yeah. So that Monday will be that last session, right? From Tuesday onwards, the link is going to be changed, right? Okay. So from Tuesday onwards, everything on a daily basis, the videos, notes, everything will be forwarded to you, right?
Okay.
Fine. Okay. So I'm running out of time. So if I'm done with the queries, then I'll sign off for today. So meet you on Monday, same time. Okay. And thank you all for your time and happy weekend. Right.
Okay, thanks.
So thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.